Hello all. Today we will be discussing a small demo on MCP workflow. Okay. So as you all guys know, like what is a MCP, Model Context Protocol? It uses its own predefined input structure, output structure, so that it will be very easy to call the multiple tools which you define in your environment. Because in a project you might be having some thousands of functions, but on defining MCP, it becomes very easy for it to search which tools that LLM has to call and what is the response, and after getting response what is the other tool that it has to call, and so on. So here this readme file where it shows what is an agent and how the LLM loop with Gemini is created and how the server is created and the real-time data here. I thought I will take any news headlines on the Iran war headlines, or you can keep uh, any URL, okay, which it extracts the data. Then any CRUD operations where you can save the data and delete the data into a log file or JSON file, and then another tool where it renders those changes to the Prefab UI, the visual interface. Okay, architecture. So you need to fab agent actually. We have created agent.py, server.py, so where it calls a server. So to call the server, first the server has to be up and running. So it exposes a port in 8080. Okay, so on agent calling the server has the multiple tools that it defined, and the agent has an LLM calls where it chooses which tool to call. Like first it fetches the news, then saves the facts, reads the facts, and if it sees there are more facts defined based on how you write the prompt, it might call the delete fact. And then finally show Iran war headlines is the one where it shows the headlines, renders the prefab UI by calling that MCP tool to the UI. Okay, so this is the project structure. So these are the tools which I have defined: fetching the news, save the facts, read the facts, delete the facts, and then show Iran war headlines into the UI. These are all the CRUD operations: save, read, and delete. This is the internet where I am fetching the news from the URL. And then this is the UI tool where I wanted to render that log to the UI. Okay, what facts.agent do? It connects to the MCP server through stdio, because this demo shows only the stdio operations, and we are using the LLM Gemini here to decide the next action, and it calls the tools one by one and then logs every step. Okay, so here let me show here a simple one. So where here this is an MCP server. Okay, here I'm calling the tools, like it is just that you have to define at the rate MCP tool fetch news. Here I have defined the URL, it fetches the news from there. Okay, then it takes the title, description, and then sorts them accordingly, and then it stores that into the logs. So the next tool is save fact. It saves the facts into the facts.json. Then reads the facts. It reads the facts. Another tool to delete the fact. Okay, it loads and then deletes. And the next one is the UI one, where show Iran war headlines. So I'm exposing that to prefab UI. So where all the fetched details will be shown in the prefab.ui. Okay. Then what is an agent here? Like here in the agent.py, I'm using Gemini 2.5 flashlight. You can use anything here if you want. So this is the describe tools where it lists all the tools available in the server. Then this is the stdio server parameters. This is how you have to define. So this is the command and call the mcp server.py. This server params is the variable that you have to create, and with this stdio client is created. This acts actually an interface between server, the calls goes to the server, read as well as the write. That means whatever server is sending, it takes that data from the server. So to and fro operations can be done. So async with stdio client session, and then I'm initializing the client here. So what is a system prompt actually? Okay, I'm saying you are a world news agent. You must solve the task by calling tools one by one. So my output format should be function call and then arguments, or else it can be a final summary. Here these are the available tools that it will give. Dynamic parameter from the above function. Call only one tool at a time, use exact tool name. Okay, so all these are all the system prompts. What are my tasks? I'm telling only fetch four latest headlines, save each headline, finally show that in the UI. If there is in history, and I'm appending that. Okay, each time it runs, so I'm appending to the context here. Okay, so my system prompt is one. This is my task. If there are any previous contexts, and what is your next action? So this is my prompt, and I'm sending the prompt here. Okay, so my prompt tells, okay, first time I have fetched the news. Okay, in that case context will be empty. Second time, save the fact. Okay, already it has the news, and those things will be added as part of previous steps. Then it thinks, okay, now I have to do save fact tool. Then it saves it. Then like it decides, okay, if it is fine, then it says final answer summary. Like that it calls the tools one by one. So all those will be appended, and then final answer, whatever it is, these are all the things which I have written to save it and then do it. So here, like once you need to start the server, MCP server, and then once the server is started. Okay, so this is a server. It will be available in localhost 8080. Go to this. Okay, the app will be open something like this. Fast MCP apps. This is the headings. These you can change however you want. Okay, so once this is done, here you need to run this Python agent, mcp.agent.py. Okay, see how it runs here. The first time my LLM call, like Gemini, it says, okay, this is the tools that you have defined. First action I'm saying fetch news. Fetch news doesn't have any arguments. So fetch news just the pipeline empty arguments. It calls that URL. It gets because all these four or five headlines from there. Next iteration, this context will be appended. In the next iteration, it says, okay, save this first line, like Lebanon accuses Israel of targeting journalists, so and so. Okay, then the action, save fact will be done. Again, save fact, it has called again, Israel accuses Hamas. Then the function call, then the save fact happens. So one by one, all the save facts will happen here. The function calls one by one. So I told my task is to save four items. Then I have already saved four headlines. The next step is to display the function call read facts. Okay, so it said, okay, I have already done four. Now let me read it. So from the file, the read call, it has seen these four items, and it has thought, okay, like second and third, it repeated twice. Then it has done a delete fact. Okay, so that delete fact it will be done. Then the save one, Netanyahu orders army to vigorously. Then the save fact. So all these things will be done here. So these are the action calls one by one, and finally the summary will be displayed. Okay, so once you go here, this will be launched, like click on launch. Here if you see, these are the things which got saved in my facts.json file. Here I want to show it colorfully. So it comes like this. Lebanon accuses Israel, Israel accuses Hamas in Tehran, money sharp and return to war looms over day.